becoming too dog friendly?
The BBC is now pushing anti-dog propaganda.
From coffee shops, restaurants, and retailers like IKEA, Zara, and John Lewis, dog-friendly spaces are becoming easy to come by. There are 13.5 million pet dogs in the UK, and 36% of households own at least one dog. But people who are allergic to dogs or afraid of them say that the rise of these dog-friendly spaces is a concern. One woman with the extreme fear of dogs told the BBC that she feels trapped and only goes out on special occasions due to the lack of dog-free zones. She's one of the many seeking support in online groups who offer advice on how to avoid them. But a coffee shop owner whose brand is underpinned by the dog says that they're part of the family. What do you think? Has it all gone a bit too far?
This is unbelievable and utterly unacceptable. I know I live in the United States, but this is what is coming next. What's happening there is going to happen here next. This just in, too many Chinese people in China. We need to change that.
That are going on in London, etc. No, they say we need more diversity because the place is
England's too white.
This is from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA. They call them. DEF is probably what is coming to these parts of the UK if they're not careful. England, I should say, more accurately. But they've decided that basically there are too many white people living in places like the Cotswolds, and that is a bad thing. They wouldn't say there are too many Indians or too many Pakistanis or whatever living in any particular part of the country, but too many white people.
Well, apparently there are too many white people in the English countryside, so that needs to be changed. If you're liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. So with this push of a certain group that we all know is moving into Europe, the UK, and the US with an intention. This push to ban dogs in certain spaces is because they're importing certain people of a certain group that do not like dogs. This group, rather than assimilating, is being catered to. How do you feel about that?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, you should get rid of the dog, generally dogs, if they're used for security, then they are permissible, but to have them as a pet will not be permissible according to the Hanafi school of thought. So I would advise you find a way to get rid of the dog. Allah.
So this push to ban dogs in the countryside in the UK is about bringing diversity into the countryside. What do you think? Do you think the UK is allowed to be white? Is China allowed to be Chinese? As we know, diversity has been thrust upon us. The third world has been imported into the United States, the UK, and Europe intentionally. And many of those people are choosing not to assimilate. So the plan is to break up any homogeneous white country with diversity from the third world. And if you oppose it, then you're categorized as a racist. So they're doing a lot of social engineering to bring in diversity. And because of that, they want the long-standing tradition of British people loving their dogs to be restricted. Are the British allowed to have their culture, or does it have to be diluted? Are the Chinese allowed to have their own culture? So colonization is really bad unless it's reverse colonization, and then it's okay. That's interesting. Let's check out another clip here. It's Adam.
We have anti-dog flyers in the UK. Do not walk your dog here. Muslims do not like dogs. This is an Islamic area now. Holy fuck.
Not okay.
This has over 500,000 views.
This
is
is in the
posted in
UK.
2025. It doesn't matter.
Any guesses on how long ago humans began to domesticate dogs? 30 to 40,000 years ago. Not only have dogs served as protectors and laborers and companions, family, and as good friends for 30 to 40,000 years now. But what about the health benefits of dogs? Oh yeah, I wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't fit my theme of connection. Having pets, dogs in this case, actually lowers your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. Stress is one of the leading causes of inflammation. Having a pet, in this case a dog, markedly, specifically reduces inflammation in your body. And it also lowers your blood pressure. Also, when people have pets, they get outside more and they are more physically active. And I don't think it's a secret to anybody that having a dog or a pet into your life can be absolutely life-changing. And therapy dogs are therapy dogs for a reason. We need these guys. Hey, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. Is this about acceptance of Islam and other cultures, or is it about control of society? So, in my opinion, if you don't want to live in a dog-loving country, then don't live in a dog-loving country. Many of the people who are saying that they don't want the dogs came in on small boats and are living for free off of the British taxpayer. So where is the justice in this? How is it fair? They don't have to be living in the UK. There are something like 57 Islamic countries that these people can choose from.
So we have Keir Starmer.
We've seen a devastating rise in Islamophobia. I've heard firsthand of women wearing hijab who are too scared to travel by public transport.
What if they're too scared to not wear the hijab?
The surge in Islamophobia is simply appalling. I do not want Britain to be a place where British Muslims are not able to be their whole selves, where they feel they must hide or tone down who they are. As leader of the Labour Party, I am indebted to the contributions of Muslim members, activists and politicians.
That's the reason why you're doing this, is that you want the votes.
Yes.
You want to import these people in, do what they say, then get them to vote for you as a racial or a religious bloc. That's the reason why.
Who make our party what it is today.
Always about the votes.
I'd like to thank Muslim organisations and mosques who work tirelessly to raise awareness and shine a light on the scale of Islamophobia.
Raise your hand if you're tired of the label. This is a clean example of slapping on a label so that there's a certain reaction from the people that you're labeling. Nobody wants to be called phobic. Nobody wants to be called racist. But we can no longer just accept, oh, he's calling me Islamophobic. I have to then retreat and not stand up for my country and not stand up for my culture. And definitely within a certain generation, like being called a racist, being called phobic is an instant, like, no, we're not. They've twisted it in a new way, but it still gets a knee-jerk reaction from people, even when it's not an appropriate label and we should not be using them.
UK, people are being discouraged from owning dogs. Like, who in their right mind is thinking about that now? Main news again, Gaza annihilated, oil prices rocket. Also, though, are you too dog friendly?
All right, folks, we need to be loving to all people, but this is not acceptable. Islam and the West are not compatible, fundamentally not compatible. That does not mean you need to hate the Muslim who's your neighbor, who's your friend. Take them as individuals, take them for who they are, be loving and kind. But we must be also fighting for our own culture and our own beliefs. And it is not Islamophobic to state the fact that one form of jihad is to move into an area, consolidate within cities, and then begin taking political power. It's mandated. It's mandated because Sharia law is seen as superior to all other law because it's by Allah. And so the goal is that all of us submit to Sharia.
Britain is Darul Haram because they are, anathema to God's law. They're not implementing it. They're violating His sanctity, and therefore this is war against Allah and His Messenger. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now, I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression because they are implementing non-Islamic law, violating their own sanctity. So, if we are in a position of power and authority, we are obliged to take that authority, with the minimum force and to implement the Sharia, certainly. So, this will be the case one day in Britain.
And when you talk about jihad, you're not talking about spiritual striving. You're talking about military jihad.
No, I think there are two types of jihad in which people are engaging in today. One is the jihad of the word, and the other is jihad of the sword. So in Britain, we are engaged in the jihad of the word. And, it's as important to remove the ideological foundation and, if you like, the pillars of Western civilization, like democracy and freedom and secularism, and to expose them and to bring back people to worshipping the one true Lord, which is Allah, as much as it is important to remove the physical obstacles, which is the
People often think of jihad as warring and fighting, but it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be that at all. Political jihad of the word is one form of takeover, and that's what we're seeing. And it's a long game. Because it is a long game, and because King Charles is likely Muslim, he is advocating for the spread of Islam and diversity is our strength, which actually is not the truth. Diversity is great, but without a common culture, common belief, a common thread that holds everyone together, then diversity is a hindrance. It sets you back. It doesn't move you forward. So it's not that diversity isn't good, but it definitely isn't the strength when there's not a common culture. And let's be real, this is a spiritual battle. So the way for us to move forward is to focus on what we do want, and to cut to the chase, we need to be in worship, we need to be in praise. Okay, let's end on this sweet note.